Hi, Miss Dale. So we chose to do our film analysis on Insomnia, and my name is Tiffany.
And I'm Cheyenne.
So I chose to analyze the characters and the sound and music.
Well, I'll be talking about the story of the movie Insomnia as well as the themes throughout the movie.
Alright, so let's get into it.
The movie Insomnia is about a former police detective who's played by Al Pacino. His name is Will Dormer in the movie. He's sent to a small town in Alaska to investigate a murder of a teenage girl, and the primary suspect that he is searching for is played by Robin Williams, and his name is Walter Finch in the movie. Throughout Dormer's former police years, he forged a lot of evidence that he inventoried to catch the bad guy, and who he thought was the bad guy. And because of this, he finds himself in an unstable psychological state, ultimately putting himself and others that he surrounds himself with in danger.
So as Shai stated, the main two characters are Will Dormer and Walter Finch. To analyze Will Dormer first, towards the beginning of the movie, we get to see that he's a brilliant man. He knows how to act in certain situations. Like, for example, when he got to see the dead girl, he knew how to examine her body. He noticed that her fingernails were clipped in an odd way when no one else did. They were rough and horribly done, which no girl would have. And he continues to go down the same path of his sly habits, like the former incident that Cheyenne stated. Another example is when he was talking to the dead girl's boyfriend to find out more information about their relationship. He knew how to play the guardian and to say the right things in order to get what he wanted. Dormer showed qualities of strong will and strong-minded. When he is set to a task, he sets it into a target and he reaches it. However, with these qualities, it can have a negative effect. When he shot his partner, Hap Eckhart, everything in his head fell apart. You can obviously tell that he was a very confident man, and being that he wanted to catch Walter Finch real bad, so everything in his body told him that it was Walter Finch. So automatically, he couldn't believe what he did, so he lied. Like, that's what he did. So, he lives in his lies right after the crime scene and tries to bury it up and make it go away, which was a mistake, as the audience can tell. And as the movie continues, the audience sees that he is haunted by the guilt of Hap and becomes sleep deprived. It eats him up slowly and he falls apart. But at the end, he knows what is right and tells the truth to Ellie Burr, his partner. His character teaches us that you should accept who you are, and instead of making a perfect reputation, and to do what's best and think about others than yourself. So the other main character that I wanted to talk about was Walter Finch, and so he was the prime suspect that Dormer was chasing all throughout the movie. What I noticed when I was watching it, that he was basically a mirrored image of Will Dormer, but instead of letting his guilt take over for killing that girl, he accepted what he did. And I thought that he represented Dormer's conscience, meaning that he was always guiding him to do what was right in his version. And Finch was also a smart man. He knew when to stay low and when to play the innocent character. Dormer was very slick too when he was talking to the detectives. The audience gets to see that he lives in his life so well that he had no problem in having different personalities when talking to Ellie Burr. At the end, when Dormer shot him, it symbolized that Dormer's psychotic state of mind was ending and coming down to a peace. So the last character I wanted to talk about is Ellie Burr. She was my favorite character because she represented a light in the movie. She is clear-minded, independently strong, and very caring of her job and her fellow detectives. So at the beginning of the film, she was very thrilled to work beside Dormer. She learned from his techniques, and it was very helpful in figuring out the case that she was assigned to, which was when Dormer shot Hap. That was the case. and when she was assigned it, she took on a huge responsibility and acted very smart with how she approached things. Dormer was very lucky that she did not blurt out the truth to everybody at the scene of the bar. And in that way, Ellie tries to understand the truth before telling everybody. So she even goes out to Walter Finch to gain more information about the crime scene. So the truth finally comes out, and she confronts Dormer if he is innocent or guilty. And Burr, being the caring person she is, understands Dormer's position and knows that he's a good person inside and tries to get rid of the bullet. But Dormer stops her because he knows her position and that she was new and he didn't want to start her off her career in lies. Ellie Burr plays a very good character by representing a strong, independent woman in the movie.
So throughout the film, I noticed a few reoccurring themes, and one of them was morality. And to me, morality, or what I noticed, was it's the distinction between good and bad behavior, and the distinction between what's right and what's wrong. Concerning the theme morality, there's one scene that I want to talk about, which is at the end of the movie, which is the final shootout between Walter Finch and Dormer. And a little background to that scene is when Dormer had shot his partner Hap with his personal .22, he left behind the casing. Later in the movie, Ellie goes back to the scene and she finds the casing, and it doesn't match anybody else's gun from the department. But then with context clues throughout the movie, she finds out that it's Dormer's personal gun, so low-key she knows that it was Dormer that shot Hap, but she wanted actual evidence to prove that point. So talking about the ending scene, Ellie, she has the bullet casing with her and she's following Dormer to Walter's cabin, I think it is, and she goes to confront Dormer, but since there's a shootout between Walter and Dormer, she gets caught in the crossfire, so she's hiding, and Walter goes to shoot Ellie, but Dormer steps in the way and catches the bullet for Ellie. And in this moment, Ellie actually has remorse now because he saved her life. And so there is the scene of Dormer sitting down and Ellie over him saying that she's going to throw away the casing. As a character, she is very by the book. Dormer saw this, and he at one point in his career was also at the same point, but he took the wrong turn. He took the wrong choices and didn't think about what was right and wrong. So he didn't want Ellie to go down that same road because she was a new detective and she was new to the whole scene of working in the police department and as a detective. So Dormer tells her not to throw away the bullet casing. Which is, I think, very prevalent for morality because it is a decision between right and wrong, and Dormer telling her that that is wrong to throw that away. Another theme that I wanted to talk about was guilt, and guilt kind of stems off of the theme of morality. Throughout the film, there's guilt everywhere. There's guilt with Dormer, there's guilt with Walter, not so much, but there's also guilt with Ellie. There's a lot of guilt everywhere. And more specifically with Dormer and Walter, they, as Tiffany said earlier, they're practically the same people. They're a reflection of each other. Dormer is the detective, so he is seen as a good guy, and Walter is a murderer who is seen as a bad guy. And with Walter, he forgave himself for killing that teenager, while Dormer, throughout his career, he has so many mess-ups. He just has so much guilt, and with the killing of Hap, his partner, that made him feel even more guilt, and now in the movie we can see him starting to be eaten alive with guilt. He can't sleep. He, in Alaska, they're in a specific area, and I think it's during the summertime where there's no darkness. It only stays light throughout all the day, so that is also dragging on his guilt. He can't sleep. It seems as though every day is just the same day, so nothing is changing, and he's being disoriented from all of his dishonesty for his career. By the end of the movie, from all of his dishonesty and from him being so disoriented, after he gets shot, and he's having the conversation with Ellie, you can see in his face that he lets go of all the guilt that he's holding. You can see that he is being uplifted, and he knows that that's what needed to happen. His career kind of was going down the hole, and he finally meets his fate, and he just knows that it's the right thing to do, and he forgives himself. The themes of morality and guilt, even though they're closely related, they do have different focuses. Both of them actually do tie it to the story. Morality, good and bad, and guilt, from right or wrong. And there's a lot of wrong in this movie, and there's a lot of wrong in the story, so there's a lot of guilt that's brought up from that.
So the other category that I would like to analyze is sound and music. And sound and music plays such a huge role in the tone of the movie. It controls the feelings of the audience. If there were no sound and music, the audience would not be so connected to the characters. And in the start of this movie, the music was very soothing and calm, almost atmospheric-like, but when the main character, like Dormer, is being haunted by guilt, it becomes harder and more aggressive. It becomes more thrilling trying to match Dormer's thoughts and feelings. And music and sound plays out pretty predictable, I would say. Like at the beginning, it is very nice and calm because everyone is innocent. And the middle, where everyone can't tell whether right from wrong, it becomes hard and adrenaline-like. And at the end, it becomes soft for the reason being that Dormer releases himself from all the guilt he has kept inside. And I feel that it plays very well in connecting with the characters and dramatizing the scenes. So to end my part, what I analyzed was characters and sound and music, and I chose those two because I think they go hand in hand in the making of a movie, because when you watch a movie without sound and music, you wouldn't be really connected to the characters. It wouldn't be like so engaging, I would say. So it really plays hand in hand in controlling the tone of the movie. And characters, I really like how actors play different characters in the movies. Like Walter Finch was like the bad guy, and Dormer was being haunted by his guilt, and Ellie was like the light and everything. Like I liked how everything came together and like everything was connected, and that's why I chose characters. So characters and sound music.
Alright, so I'm Shy,
Tiff,
and thank you for watching our film analysis on Insomnia by Christopher Nolan.
and catch you on cyberspace, Miss Dale.